Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I'm very excited because today we're doing the first book review of the month. And we're also doing our first book review of one of the Unplugged special edition books. So if you guys follow me, you might know that I've been subscribed to Unplugged for about 2 years now, I want to say. And I just started subscribing to their horror subscription box, which is Twisted Retreat, run by the same people. But after being, I think it's 4 years in business, they have finally started doing exclusive editions of books through their subscription box, which I think is really, really cool. This book is absolutely stunning. So this is the first one that I got for my Unplugged. The ones following will also be in a similar style as with my Twisted Retreat books. So I do have this one as well as last month's Twisted Retreat, and I'm hoping to get 2 more this month for November. One from Unplugged, one from Twisted Retreat. Again, same company, just different subscription boxes. But first off, I just want to take a minute to go over how stunning this is. So this is a redesigned book cover or flap, whatever you call it. And then you have like the stenciled or embossed edges. I don't remember what the actual word is for it. Very, very beautiful. But the star of the show for me is actually this cover, which is just this beautiful foiled hardcover with like a moon and stars. It's got a beautiful backing, and then on the side it just says "Throw Me to the Wolves" and our authors' names. I love this. I think it is stunning. I think it is just so well thought out, and I love that the books that we will be getting from Unplugged and Twisted Retreat will go together, so it'll kind of feel like a set or a collection, which I think is great. So I'm really excited that I got this book, and I was very interested in reading this. This came in my October 2022 box, so like their Halloween box, because this is a werewolf book. Now I will say, when I read the inside flap of this book for the first time, I was very confused because there is a lot going on. I then read the book, and yes, there is a lot going on, but it is less confusing than the inside flap makes you think it is, but I will read it to you now so you guys can decide for yourself. So it says, "Some evil wants to live forever. 10 years ago, a witch sacrificed Britta Orchard's family and turned her into a werewolf. Selena Stone's spell failed, and she was never seen again, until now. Officer Aaron LeBay has discovered Selena's remains in the house where Britta's family died and dragged Britta back to Louisiana to aid the investigation, hoping her past will break the case. Britta has had a hard time resisting the handsome rookie, especially when he shows her a new drawing by her murdered little brother, Britta in her wolf form. As an unseen hand sets events in motion, Britta has to help LeBay dig into the murders old and new. The bloodthirsty ghost of her brother, a jealous member of her pack, and a former friend with a serious prejudice against wolves all stand to stop Britta as she fights to finally get the truth about that night 10 years ago. But as she looks harder than ever into her own dark past, Britta will confront more than just her own demons as she fights for peace for herself and for her family. She can't hide anymore. She must find her place in a world she's avoided and discover what it truly means to be a wolf." So this book is pretty short. It's like 260 pages, 240 pages. And I really, really wanted to like this book. I have been trying so hard to find werewolf books that I like. I feel like werewolf books always kind of miss the mark for me. They either become almost too like gonzo, like with Stephen Graham Jones, or they become very Twilighty, where they are very pivotal on romance. This was a little bit of both, to be perfectly honest. This book was kind of all over the place, and it did end up having this weird romantic undertone in it that I don't think I bought, and to be perfectly honest, actually pissed me off towards the end. That being said, the first third of this book I really, really enjoyed. This book opens up in an interrogation room between a cop and Britta. We know Britta is a werewolf. Obviously the cops don't, and it's really interesting watching her interacting to crime scene photos that she definitely knows more about than the police do because of her situation. I thought that entire concept was brilliant, and I really thought this book was going to really lean into like this investigation style, almost like Lucifer, iZombie kind of moment. I thought it would have been really unique and really fun, and it gave me these like Law and Order vibes, and I really enjoyed that. Then it very much turned into like Twilight. We get a lot of weird characters who just very magically happen to know everything they need to know to help somebody in a certain situation. We get like conflicts that don't need to be there that are just kind of pulled up out of nowhere and thrown in to create conflict, to create these fake red herrings that are so easy to see that they are red herrings. There's like a prophecy in it that is misinterpreted at one point, and I was able to figure out the prophecy within like a page. So it just kind of got all over the place. And I feel like there was just so much going on. These authors, there's two of them, Lindy Ryan and Christopher Brooks, really wanted to play up this concept of the Louisiana like manor house alongside witchcraft, alongside detective story, alongside werewolf story and a werewolf pack, alongside like deceptive romance. There was just so much going on in 240 pages, and I feel like if just one or two elements had been removed, this book would have been so much stronger. Like, I honestly want to say that the most annoying part of this book was actually the werewolf lore. All of the side story with Britta's pack just felt forced, and I felt like Britta as a wolf didn't quite make sense the way that she treated it. I felt like if she was like a day-walking vampire, it would have fit so much better with what was going on, because the pack story felt so forced and the lore of the pack felt so thrown together, and it didn't make sense. And to me, at least as far as I know, it didn't really follow typical werewolf lore, which I'm okay every now and then if you want to change something as an author, but as long as you make it make sense in the fictional world you've created. And it just felt over and over and over again like it didn't. And the more I read about how somebody becomes a werewolf, the more confused I got, because it seemed to create all these plot holes for the story and other characters, which became very, very frustrating. Like the librarian's entire backstory and why she doesn't like wolves was very confusing and hard for me to digest. How Britta became a wolf is pretty much just alluded to. It's never explained. And I found that really bizarre as well. And it was just kind of all over the place. And what I started speed reading when I first picked it up really hit a hard stop about a third of the way through, and then it became almost work to get through. Our characters became dumber and more vague, and they started making stranger decisions. And there's something about a main female lead who relies primarily on anger and rage that I don't necessarily love. And it's something that I've seen a lot in novels recently, where there's no real story arc for this character. She relies so heavily on anger and rage and things that she's held onto from the past that she uses those to make terrible decisions, doesn't grow from them, and then everything works out for her in the end. And I really don't like that style of female protagonist. I feel like there's something lost. There's a sense of growth that is lost, and I've always felt that the author is trying to depict like a strong female lead, but in reality I feel like it backfires. You see more of a weak female lead, because yes, they are angry and motivated, but that anger and that motivation of whatever revenge or vengeance they're going for tends to blind them to other things. That being said, because that is the type of lead that we have, this meant that the ending absolutely infuriated me. It took all of this character development, all of this all these ideas of loyalty and love and like being true to yourself and true to who you are, that was kind of being danced around with our main character. Just threw it out the window. Was like, cool. Guess not. This is fine. And I don't want to like say like what it was, because it'll totally spoil the book for you guys, but like, a character is forgiven very quickly in the moment that I just don't believe would have been. And the ending does end very vaguely, so we don't necessarily know the fate of a certain character. But to me, it was just like, this makes no sense. And there were a lot of characters that really made no sense. There was no depth really to any character except for our main. Everybody else were kind of these side characters that you just had to push the plot forward, but very much one-trick ponies. Like, you never got anything else from them. And yes, there's a twist in this book, but it is a twist that I saw coming from miles away, and was not surprised by at all, and almost like underwhelmed with, because even if these authors laid into this twist, I feel like they could have done something unique with it and taken the reader on more of a less cliche journey than they did. Yeah, but I wanted to love this. This was a 3-star read for me. I did really enjoy the first third of the book. There was so much promise there, and it just kind of fell off. It was like a really good idea that just never moved anywhere. And I don't necessarily love the idea of combining like witchcraft and werewolves together if you're not really going to see that through to the end. It really kind of got blurred as time went on with the story of how certain things happened and certain people came to be as they were. And then my only other really, really big issue with this novel was our main character, Britta, constantly saying that she was undead and that she had died. Which goes back to my why isn't she a vampire? Because at no point in this book does she die. At all. Like, it would have been one thing if she, like, died and came back to life and was like, oh, I am a werewolf. But she doesn't. And then you read the whole scene that she's been alluding to for the entire book where she becomes a werewolf. Spoiler alert, she's a werewolf. You know that from the beginning. But when you find out her werewolf origin story, you're just like, why would you ever think that you died? That you were like this undead creature? Because you're not. And all of these characters in the book keep telling her, like, that's not what you are. That's not how this works. And she just ignores them. And I just feel like maybe this book was originally written about vampires and then they changed it. I don't know. I don't know. But it is a beautiful book. And it is an interesting concept. But it just didn't work for me. And I will still sit on a search. I will still be on my search for a good werewolf novel that I enjoy. But I've read several now. I read, oh, what is that book? I'm not gonna remember. It's like a big romance werewolf series that's not actually a romance. I don't remember what it's called. I think the second one is called like Tallulah Rising or something like that. I didn't read the second one, but I read the first, and I remember feeling the same way. Like, it started off really strong and then just got weird as it went on. But oh well. Maybe I'll go watch Dog Soldiers tonight to make myself feel better. I just watched The Howling for the first time because everybody told me to watch The Howling. Said it was like one of the best werewolf movies ever made. That's not true. The Cursed and the Wolfman are. The new Curse, the one from 2022. Oh, and Brotherhood of the Wolf. Brotherhood of the Wolf is so good. But The Howling I fell asleep during. So I have just been lulled into boredom by recent werewolf media, and that's a bummer. But yes, so that is all that I have for you guys today. 3-star read on Throw Me to the Wolves. I hope it's not a series because I don't ever intend on getting the second one. Yeah, definitely a letdown. Really interested to see the next Unplugged one. I'm reading a Grady Hendrix book right now, We Sold Our Souls, which I've heard really good things about. So excited with that one. I'm about 50 pages in so far, and then we will see where else I get. Anyways, that is all that I have for you guys today. As always, I post every Monday and Thursday, sometimes on Saturdays. If you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe buttons down below, and I will catch you all in the next one. Mwah.